I don't know what other word to use that's going to be understood clearly in all languages. Humans are most humans, excuse me, are good. Now, the powers that be on your planet are not necessarily good. They're not necessarily what you may call evil. But they definitely do have an agenda. And their agenda is quite simple. They want a continuation of their respective families' lives of luxury, lives of opulence. And they want to ensure that for generations to come. They have created financial chaos around the world recently and are gearing up right now for a new program. One that many of you will be very enticed by. This is a program by which a new global financial institution will be born. A global bank will be born where anyone from anywhere on earth can, I guess the phrase would be, open an account, use one specific kind of currency that's the same the world over, and to introduce, they will say, humans to this new global banking system, you'll be offered a credit. You'll be given money. They're manufacturing it out of thin air anyway. Why not give people some? You will be given the opportunity to one of two things will happen. Number one is that you will have an RFID chip implanted in your body, a radio frequency ID chip that will identify you as you, and you will begin to be able to pay for things with that chip. An example would be this morning, while I was down doing laundry where I'm staying, there was what you would call a vending machine, and someone walked up and put their money in, and it gave them a carbonated drink, a cola. And I was thinking, you know, in the future, what people will be doing is, this is what the plan is people will come up to that and they will just pick what they want and it will deduct it from their account. Within a certain radius, these machines will know who you are. It's very scary technology. When you go to the store, the stuff that you buy will be registered as you taking possession of it, and those respective prices deducted from your account. That's the first way. That's the way they're going to go after the first leg, because this information, or this technology, excuse me, is readily available. It's used all over the globe. It's very safe for humans to have this implanted in you. It's subcutaneous implantation. It goes underneath your skin. They're arguing right now over which area of the body, probably somewhere in one of the hands. The second option, though, that people will be given is an iris scan. And that technology is a little further out. A lot of people I see on their computers, especially in the old days, had little cameras attached to the top of them. They would chat and speak with people and they could see them. Camera technology for humans has really advanced quite rapidly over the last, I would say, 2 decades. And iris scan technology is becoming very commonplace for highly secured facilities. I know because I visit them often. I have never, ever been scanned. And I never, ever will. I won't allow it to be done. That's one of the preconditions many times for me meeting with people, is that they don't get to ask me a lot of nosy questions. They've basically supplied me with their questions beforehand, and they're going to sit and listen to what I have to say without asking any additional questions. If that sounds arrogant, then so be it. That's the terms I've set. I don't have time to waste with unimportant, insignificant humans at this stage of the game. Now, when I say that, I don't mean I only ever have dealings with people in power. In fact, quite contrary. Most of my dealings are with people on the street, is the term to use, I believe. the common people. Those are the people I find most fascinating. As an anthropologist, those are the people I want to study. I don't care what the global elite, what the new fancy cuisine of the month or the year is, or what the fancy vacation trendy spot is right now. I don't care about these things. I've seen them come and go over the years. They don't provide any interest to me. With very few exceptions, there are people who have become so driven by one of the three things, either their heart, their mind, or their genitalia, that they've lost track of their soul. They've lost track of what's inside. To me, it's like speaking to a void. Is that the correct word? An empty chasm? I don't dislike humans. Quite the contrary. I very much like humans. I'm frustrated by humans on a frequent basis because you possess so much potential and you limit yourself by your own self-doubts. You second-guess yourselves to death. So often, when I'm meeting with individuals, they come up with the idea, the solution to their problems, instantly, then begin to talk themselves out of action. Lately, since what was perpetrated in America on September 11th, 2001, since all that happened, governments have been very much trying to satiate the general population. Buy now, pay later. Let's get everybody comfortable. You know what it's created? It's created a bunch of people who now no longer have employment. Everywhere I go in the world, people seem to tell me the same thing over the last 18, 24 months. The unemployment situation in my area is going to lead to social catastrophe or similar. In Tunisia, it's getting to the point where it's untenable. Most people in the West don't think much about Tunisia. Most people in the West don't seem to think much about anything other than where they live, and that's fine. But these third world catastrophes, a good example is the earthquake in Haiti. The country was destroyed. Destroyed. It's never been fixed to this day. Those that I know that work in non-governmental organizations that have been to Haiti recently, because I have not, but I trust their first-hand account relayed to me, say the situation there is horrific. Everywhere you see death and disease. In America and in Latin America and Central America, people feel as if Haiti is this third world offshore dilemma that doesn't concern them. But there's a phrase that you should all become a word with which you should all become very familiar. It's called diaspora. In English, it means mass migrations of refugees from one point of the globe to another. Over the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to hear this term a lot. People need to be mobile to some extent. The disasters of this year, of 2010, will be nothing compared to the disasters in store for 2011. And then I can tell you the disasters of 2012 will be worse than those in the year prior. And this is because your Earth is going into a period of galactic alignment. And your neighboring planet Jupiter is throwing off a lot of dark matter. And it's interfering, or is going to start interfering, with both the rotation and axis of your planet and your magnetic field. It's not going to kill you all instantly. I'm not preaching doom here. I'm saying adjustments need to be made. One of the things that always interests me is the society that existed in Afghanistan several thousand years ago in the mountains of what is now Afghanistan. Very advanced, very unique civilization that lived completely subterranean in the mountains there. In Afghanistan, you can get lost in the mountains very easy. As anyone who's ever been there can attest, it's a very wild country, very unforgiving country, Afghanistan is. So it's always been no surprise to me that those who found these initial entrances to these caves in these mountains decided never to come out again. They expanded on what was there originally and built a network of underground cities that span hundreds of kilometers in the mountains of Afghanistan. They've been explored to some extent by modern societies. The Russians desperately wanted in the late 80s. In the late 1980s, the Russians wanted more than anything to get inside those caves and find out what was there, because they believed that it was a secure place to basically have a trump card, I think you would say, in the event of a nuclear war. They could take their leadership there, and it was a pre-made bunker, unlike any other. The Americans have been after it ever since. The people in Afghanistan, by and large, I think they've just heard the legends. I don't think many of them believe it, but I don't say that out of any disrespect. The people in Afghanistan have been ravaged by war for decades now. It's one of the saddest places you'd ever want to visit on your planet. A beautiful, vibrant population has been, in many places, just been decimated by war. The people of Afghanistan are, by their very nature, very hospitable. Those areas can be very inhospitable to humans, and for as long as I can remember, if you showed up at someone's camp hungry and tired, it was just common courtesy to invite you in and provide you sustenance. In most of the world, this was the case. Oh, I'm going to run out of... There's almost no tape left. Alright, well, this is the end of my first 90-minute cassette. I like this Tandy recorder that I've got here. I wonder what Tandy means. I wonder if it's a name of a company, or if that's what this is actually called, a Tandy. Regardless, it seems to be working. And I'm going to try to expand more on everything as I record these. I've got a lot of spare time right now. I can't send them as I record them because, for the most part, I'm really trying to stay off the internet. The internet, for me, ended up being a mistake. I understood how the internet worked. What I didn't understand was the lengths to which, in particular, the United States has their fingers in the backbone of what you call your World Wide Web or your internet. Anything that you do, the United States government knows about if you do it online, if you do it via computer, unless you're in an isolated network. If you're connected to the World Wide Web, the U.S. government can find you quite quickly. And so I have decided, while I'm not running from anyone anymore, per se, I'm still... I don't seek fame. I don't seek fortune. I have no interest in being on the news. But I enjoy speaking to people, and I feel that this is the easiest way that I can get my quote-unquote words out to as many people as possible. All right. This is the end. For now.